Montanans may soon see volunteers for a group called Montanans Securing Reproductive Rights gathering signatures to put a constitutional abortion rights amendment on the ballot this fall. This phase of the journey for CI 128 came about after Supreme Court justices wrote their own ballot language after striking down Attorney General Austin Knutson's interpretation of the proposed language. Rather than that, moving forward to the signature gathering process last week brought more legal fighting and confusion. Typically, ballot initiatives are reviewed by a legislative committee that votes on whether or not to support proposed language, but this abortion initiative skipped that step. To explain what this means now, we want to welcome in Montana Free Press health reporter Mara Silvers.
Yeah, good morning, Augusta. This was probably the single biggest source of conflict last week because the Supreme Court found that the legislative review process only applies when the Attorney General has found a proposal to be legally sufficient according to the plain text of the law. And in this case, Knutson found the opposite, that the proposal was legally insufficient. And even though the court eventually reversed that decision, the justices said that that doesn't just restart the legislative review process. So because of that, Secretary of State was directed to finalize the signature gathering petition and proceed without the legislature's involvement. But it took several days to clarify that point in legal filings. And up until 1 p.m. on Friday, Secretary of State Jacobson was kind of holding the proposal, which meant that signature gathering could not proceed.
Mara, thank you. And Jacobson actually held on to that proposal for so long that the court seemed to suggest she could be held in contempt. But that outcome appears to be avoided at this point because she didn't eventually send that petition to the Montanans Securing Reproductive Rights group before the deadline set by the court. Mara, what do you expect to happen next in this effort to get CI 128 on the ballot?
Well, now comes the really hard work, the grassroots campaign to get enough signatures to put this initiative on the ballot. MSRR has said that it plans to launch that signature gathering campaign within a week. And that's going to be a tough process because even with something as high profile as explicitly protecting abortion access in Montana's constitution, the campaign has to gather more than 60,300 verified signatures from voters across 40 of Montana's House districts, and then submit those signatures to county election officials before June 21st. So usually ballot initiative groups try to overshoot that threshold by tens of thousands of signatures in case there are any unverified signatures that have to be thrown out. So the campaign still has a very long way to go. We certainly have not seen the end of this.
Okay, thank you for following this. We appreciate your reporting and look forward to more on that in the weeks ahead. Again, Montana Free Press reporter Mara Silvers, thank you. The full report from her can be found at www.montanafreepress.org. Again, thanks so much, Mara.
Thank you, Augusta.